NBC News Decision Desk projecting the winner of Michigan, Biden.
We were interviewing the Secretary of State in Michigan, Jocelyn Benson, when that critical projection was made.
Joe Biden is now the projected winner in Michigan. Is that something you can comment on? Have all the votes been counted?
I'm not really focusing on winners and losers, believe it or not, at this point. I just want to make sure the process works so that we all can have faith in the outcome.
Tonight, the Trump campaign making it known they have gone to court, challenging the way the Michigan vote is being counted, saying they were not provided with meaningful access to numerous counting locations to observe the opening of ballots and the counting process as guaranteed by Michigan law, and that counting should stop until that access is given. Secretary Benson tells us that access was given.
So, Secretary Benson, in the last few hours, the Trump campaign has filed a lawsuit demanding that Michigan stop counting ballots. Have you stopped counting the ballots?
We have not stopped counting ballots. We have continued to count the ballots from the moment we were legally able to, following every single rule to ensure everything was done meticulously and securely, prioritizing accuracy above all else. The bottom line is no candidate, no campaign, no political party is going to stop us from counting every vote in Michigan and ensuring that every voice is heard.
In fact, Secretary Benson tells us they expect to be finished with the full count tonight.
Would it be fair to say that from your perspective, there is no validity to the Trump lawsuit?
Yeah, I certainly would say that in my view, this lawsuit is without merit.
Earlier in the day, the president himself accusing Michigan without evidence of finding Biden ballots, not just counting them.
Are you finding Biden votes all over the place?
We are counting every valid ballot that was submitted by the 8 p.m. deadline yesterday. That's our job, making sure every...
You've had these absentee ballots, in some cases over a month. Why does it take so long?
That is a great question, and it is something we asked our state legislature to address for over 18 months leading up to this election.
Like several states, including Pennsylvania, by law, Michigan was unable to start processing ballots before Election Day, and the Republican legislature refused to change that. So processing the record 3.2 million mail-in votes didn't start until yesterday.
Our clerks around the state, again, tirelessly worked through the night because we recognize the scrutiny our state is under and the eyes of the nation is on us. I can with confidence assure every Michigan voter and the entire nation that every single vote that was cast in Michigan will be counted, that our process is full of protections and security and is met with the highest standards of integrity to ensure that every vote is counted and that every voter can have full faith that their voice will be heard.
Something the Trump campaign seeks to challenge in court. Cynthia McFadden, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.